Hare Krishna, my name is Srivas Das from Ghana, West Africa, Zonal Supervisor for West Africa. I'm in Mayapur right now and I teach Bhakti Vaibhav, the Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is very important. Studying Srila Prabhupada's books, reading Srila Prabhupada's books is very, very important for a practicing sadhaka, a devotee who wants to make progress in Krishna consciousness, who wants to be connected to the disciplic succession, who wants to understand the science of Krishna and how to practice it, must read Srila Prabhupada's books. Srila Prabhupada invested so much energy into these books. Why? Because he knows the value of these books. While devotees were sleeping, Srila Prabhupada stayed awake all night, simply translating and giving his Bhakti Vedanta purports to his books. And we can see that even though he used to travel constantly around the globe, but wherever Prabhupada would arrive, in any temple, in any country, he would immediately resume his translations and giving his purports, because he said his life was short. He had a few years to live on the planet, and he wanted to achieve this very important goal of giving us the legacy of his transcendental literatures. So why is it so important? It's so important because for us to practice Krishna consciousness, for us to thread on the path of bhakti, we need to understand where we are at and where we are going. Chanakya Pandit says, just as medicine is a friend for the sick, knowledge is a friend for a person on a journey. Spiritual life is a journey. Actually, the whole material existence is a journey from one point to the other. From birth to death is a journey. From conditioning to liberation is a journey. And so to understand this journey, to understand the mileposts on this journey, the landmarks on this journey, we need knowledge. And that is why Srila Prabhupada sacrificed his life in making sure that he left behind a legacy of his Bhaktivedanta purports. In fact, we can see that till his last breath, Srila Prabhupada was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. He was translating to the last moment of his life. That should give us the importance of his books. So we want to encourage every devotee of ISKCON, every member of ISKCON, to find some time to read. Even if it is one paragraph a day, what to say if it is a page or a verse or a chapter, how much you can read is very important. In fact, Srila Prabhu told us a story that one day Srila Prabhupada rang his bell. He was Prabhupada's servant. He was the last servant of Srila Prabhupada before Srila Prabhupada disappeared from this planet. So he said one day Prabhupada rang his bell. He ran into Prabhupada's room. He paid his obeisances. And he saw Srila Prabhupada reading the Nectar of Devotion. And Srila Prabhupada told him that this book is very nice. If one can read one paragraph a day, one chapter a day, that is very nice. If one cannot read a chapter a day, he should read one paragraph a day. It's very nice. And if he cannot read one paragraph a day, he should read one sentence a day. And even if he cannot read one sentence a day, he should read one word a day. That by just reading one thing from the Nectar of Devotion, one is connected to Rupa Goswami and connected to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and connected to Krishna, connected to a spiritual world. Then he didn't know what to say. He was just looking at Prabhupada. And then he left. Another occasion, Srila Prabhupada called him again into the room. And this time, Srila Prabhupada was reading the Krishna book. And he said, this book is very nice. Srila Prabhupada, he's reading his own books. He said, this book is very nice. If anybody can read this book, he will attain perfection. If you can read just a chapter a day, that is very wonderful. If you cannot read a chapter a day, read a paragraph a day. If you cannot read a paragraph a day, read a sentence a day. Or even a word a day. It connects you to the spiritual system. Then the third time, Prabhupada called him into his room, he was reading Bhagavad Gita. So he realized that all Srila Prabhupada's books are very, very important. That His Divine Grace, Lacy Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, is reading his own books. He's relishing his own books. This is very hard to find. Generally, authors don't read their own books. They write for others. But here, Srila Prabhupada is reading his own books, showing that they're full of spiritual ecstasy, showing that there is a lot of pleasure in these books. They are transcendental. So what to speak of us? So every devotee must make an effort to read Srila Prabhupada's books, no matter how small. But we should take one book and every day we read one line, or we read one chapter, or we read one paragraph, and installmentally we read the whole book to the end, and we take another one. It will help us to understand the science of Krishna consciousness. It will help us to understand the process of Krishna consciousness. It will help us to know where we are going. It will help us to understand the signposts, the landmarks, as we progress on this sacred path. It will help us to achieve this very important goal of human existence. So, Prabhupada's books are meant for the devotees, even though we are distributing these devotees to people outside the world, in the material world. But Srila Prabhupada says, I have written these books for my followers. I've written these books for my devotees. And so, when we read these books, it is very pleasing to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada wrote one disciple that I have heard that you are constantly reading these books and you are helping other devotees to read these books. This is very, very pleasing to me. Continue to read my books and encourage others to read my books. This is the way we can please Srila Prabhupada, by reading his books and by distributing his books. And this way we will carry the whole world along in this Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.